Hey, folks, and welcome. Last night, the 26th of February, 2026, was the regular village council meeting. They were meeting last night to get a financial update, which, holy smoke, is that village in trouble. You need to go back and watch the village meeting, if not anything other than the financial presentation, because this village is in trouble. They need money, and they're going to sell you down the drain unless you come out and talk to them and tell them you do not want data centers as the source of their revenue. Oh, they're hurting. They're hurting for certain, and they're going to find excuses and every reason that they can to put these data centers into place. So what I want to do here is take some of the excerpts from last night. There were some speakers and some council people that made some comments that I want to focus on, and we can go on from there. So stand by. Here was our first speaker of the night.
Miss Linda Bisco. Turn the mic on, please. Ma'am, turn the mic on. Down at the bottom.
Right down in the back. There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Village Council, and residents. I've never, sorry, I've never spoken at a village meeting before, but I have deep concerns and opposition to the data center that's being proposed. The negatives that come about in the data center is going to affect all of us, not just in this town, but surrounding towns. The aquifer is going to be it's already very fragile. Taking that much water out of the aquifer is going to affect all the surrounding communities. The Wisconsin Microsoft data center is a 1.2 million square foot data center. It's a closed system like they are proposing here, but it still, on a hot day, uses 350,000 gallons of water. That's almost as much as this town uses on a daily basis. And this town's structure for water is already a mess. I can't even imagine what's going to happen if Indian Town Company starts to draw so much water out. And also another substation is going to draw a lot of water. I'm very concerned about that because you guys in town here are going to have a reverse osmosis, which will take care of that, except for your pipes, which she was just talking about. But out in the rural areas, we have wells. What are the farmers going to do when salt water seeps into the aquifer for their crops, for their ranches? It's just, I feel, not a risk that should be taken. It's just too much. 606 acres of industrial land for so few jobs just doesn't seem effective for the community, maybe for the tax revenue base that the town needs. But I think more planning in the industrial area to better use that 606 acres for more manufacturing, to bring in more jobs, to, I think would be a better use of the property. I just feel that the quality of life for the people here in town is going to be dampered. They're going to deal with noise pollution, light pollution. I mean, the light pollution, they say, could go on for 50 miles. I mean, I like the stars in my neighborhood. I can't imagine having to deal with all of that. And plus property values. The decrease in property values, having something like that in our town, I just don't think is worth it. Thank you for listening.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
All right, on to speaker number two. That would be moi. I had a few things to say, but we'll talk a little bit more about them after we listen. So stand by.
Eric Miller.
Good evening, folks. 3 minutes really isn't enough to discuss this topic of data centers, which is going to be forefront right now. I'm going to make sure of that it is a constant topic. There's time to say this, though. We need to slow down. The carrot has been chased to fulfill money for the government and not for the people of the village. And there's a big difference. There's a big difference between the institution and the people that own the institution. The whole idea here that I want to get across directly is that this is not, the hyperscale data centers that you're talking about, and by the way, there are 2 more pending proposals waiting to see what happens with 606, and tonight will allow FP&L to also have a data center on their property if voted yes for this PUD. The biggest problem with this is that your policy mandates are not in keeping with the rural character and small town directive that's put forward in your charter. And it is also put forward in all of your other development orders, especially your CPI. A 2 million square foot building does not a rural heritage or lifestyle fit. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And should you decide to proceed with it, we are already organizing injunctive relief, and we will be bringing lawsuits against the village and the developers for bringing this project into this area and disrupting what we all moved here for, the heritage. The heritage is in the generational aspects of the families that are in this room, the hardworking people that did something. Yay for the trust plant. That's an Indian town type business, hardworking, muscles, using their brains in the office. The data center brings people from the outside. Your industrial lands are going to go up in value. The light industrial is going to be sold to specialized companies that specialize in data centers. And the statistics show nationally that where there's one, you end up with 4 or more. They cluster. I understand your tax problem, but let's work together to find a better way that suits the needs of the people and not the needs of the government. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, and the clock showed I had 30 seconds left. I've never been known to leave 30 seconds on the table. Got to tell you, though, like I said, 3 minutes is not enough to discuss the topic of data centers, and we are just getting started. So hang in there, because there's a lot to know and a lot of things coming up, but the big thing to take away from this is the timeline of events that have been taking place, and you got to ask yourself why. If they know that 1 brings 2 and 2 bring 2 more, why do they want 4 data centers here? I'm going to tell you why. I can probably name it for you too. It's called an FP&L Tech Hub. They want us to be the technical leader of all of the state of Florida. The place that's golden right here in Indiantown. Our small rural village. You are not in the keeping with the rural aspects of the village once you begin to delve into these types of things. Yes, you have them on industrial property. However, that does not mean that your original label of industrial or light industrial was actually appropriate. That can be challenged as well. There are challenges all over the place, and some of you will say they're superfluous, they're silly, they're never going to go anywhere. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys go ahead and you approve that PUD. We have 30 days for injunctive relief to be able to file for it, and you're going to find out. Why are you changing it to a PUD anyway? If it already sits on industrial land, why do you? Oh, I know, because they can do more for the safety, right? Negative, because they can do more development with less restriction. That's why. They can do more on it than is given to them in the industrial. You're making it easy for them to do this. Now, I want to remind you, council people, and we're going to get into this a little later, that just because all of the checkboxes have been met, that they meet all of the requirements, does not mean necessarily that you cannot vote no. You see, they're coming for a variance. They're coming for a zoning change. They need something else in order to make this happen. And that opens the door for you, my friends, that are elected to say no. And it's an election year, and I guarantee you that you will not see the election. You will not see it. Now, there's more to come. I'm going to settle down, and we'll get right back to it.
Linda
So
Nykum.
hang in there. Here comes speaker number 3.
Good evening. For the record, Linda Nykum. I've been reminded to let you do what we elected you to do. And I feel that now is the time to remind you to do what those of us who elected you want you to do. Residents are asking, some are demanding, that you be more transparent in the business of the village. There are too many things that are being done in the shadows, and by the time they come to light, the project is much too far down the pipeline to stop or even question. Some of you don't approve of the publicity you're getting on social media, and to be sure, the ones who are most vocal are usually the ones who are spouting negative comments on whatever the issue is. But you have to remember that even the ones that don't participate on social media want and need information. The attendance at last night's town hall meeting in Royal Palm Beach is a point that you all can't ignore. They are questioning the same issues that the people in Indiantown are. Most of our residents don't have enough solid information to form an educated opinion. The ones you do hear are basing their information on any and all misinformation that is being spread. Distrust of big business is to be expected by our country folk. Don't you think that 2 or 3 town hall meetings throughout the village would be the best way to curb bad information and get answers to the questions that everyone has? And these meetings cannot be delayed until the plans are submitted to PZA board. By then, it could be too far into the project to make beneficial changes. If you want voters to stand up behind our village government, then you all need to be willing to stand up for our voters. We need to remind you that it's an election year and that not all of you were elected. And just as a follow-up, I still would like to hear some information on the cancellation of the Civic Center grant that I brought up at the last meeting. Thank you.
Well, Miss Nykum, you know, the only thing I can say, God love you, sister. You're trying to do your part. And I got to tell you, just because you don't agree with it doesn't make it disinformation, misinformation, or misleading. So let's get beyond that. And I want to clarify something. And I was going to wait until we started talking about Miss O. Saunders' remarks and Miss what's her name, the lady on the left down there, Palmer. I was going to get into a little bit about my qualifications for all of this, and maybe we will wait. Let's do this. I do agree a lot with what Linda said. Don't agree with the misinformation stuff, but I agree. We need some workshops, and I got a feeling there might be some town halls coming up, and we'll see who's brave enough to show up. All right, let's get on to the last speaker of the evening, Miss Susie Mendez.
Susie Mendez.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Susie Mendez, and I'm a resident of Indiantown and Indianwood.
Miss Susie,
And
you have to speak
put
into
the
the
mic-
microphone,
Okay.
please.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not opposed to responsible growth. I know it's going to grow. A lot of us don't want it to grow, for sure. I mean, to a point. However, given our community's existing concerns about environmental exposures and rural character, I am asking for clear, enforceable protections before any approval is granted. Now, I'm like everybody else. I'm concerned about the electricity, the grid impact that we're going to have, the water impact, the usage, you know, any kind of contamination that, you know, we're concerned about. My main thing, because I live on the canal, is my wildlife. We know Terra-Lago has already built a whole bunch of stuff out there, and it's coming. You know, it's there. And I'm like, my deer are no longer there, which I hate. I love my animals. I love my gators. I like my herons. Right now, I got nesting areas, you know, and I'm like, where are they going? They have no place to go. And it's sadness. hey, I'm glad that my painted buntings are here, and they only last for a little while. And, you know, we got a lot of contamination, too, when they spray everywhere on the golf course and everything else. So them are other issues. But, and the other thing, what's going to happen with the noise impact, the heat, the quality of life, what's going to happen there with all this that's coming in? And I don't know everything about all the AI stuff. I've just been reading about it. I'm not that educated. I'm sure not all you guys are either. You guys are learning about it. That's why we want we want answers to these questions, you know? Definitely, I said the hazardous materials, I'm not sure all about them. Taxes, incentives, and community costs. I think we should start with, let's take care of our own village. Like somebody said about the water, we don't even have our water built. You know, we're spending a lot of money. I'm like, to tell you the truth, I drink my bottled water because I'm not sure what's coming out of my faucet. I mean, I even have a system, but sometimes I'm like, huh? So let's take care of our place right now here in Indiantown, and let's take care of those problems before we decide, oh, we're gonna spend all this money on our taxpayer money and build these big, huge acres and acres of, you know, get rid of, you know, all the wildlife, because somebody in here is going to come in with millions and millions of dollars. Granted, you know, there's going to be people that are going to get jobs, but then how many more are we going to lose? I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, yeah, that did it for all the speakers. Thank you, everybody that showed up last night. See everybody in red? Can you see that there? Look, when we go to these meetings, wear a red shirt, will you? Let them know that you are not for the data center. And you can say it just by wearing your red shirt in there. Miss Susie hit a lot of topics and a lot of good points. We don't want any tax incentives for these people. There's a lot of things to concern yourself with, and that's why Susie goes to talkaboutmartin.com to find out the truth, the facts, and the hardcore evidence. We're going to be organizing that over the next few days, like I said, to put things in order so that you can go to a box and pull out information about the water, pull out information about the electricity, pull out the information about who's behind this, pull out the information about what's going to be done, pull out the information about the plans. We're putting it all in an organized way that your village is not doing for you. So we're going to help you do that work. So stand by as we start to get into, oh, and this is going to be fun. There's some sound bites in here. Council comments.
Okay. Moving on. Do we have any committee reports? Comments by village council members?
I attended the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council on the 20th, and for us, they spoke about the amendment for FPNL, the annexation of that. We spoke about the water issue, or the no water issue, no water, and drought, and mostly about fire. And we went around the room so everyone can talk about what issues they had. That's it.
That's it? Okay, thank you.
Okay,
just
here's
wanna
where
thank everyone
it
for
starts to
coming
get
out
interesting.
tonight
We're going to talk a little
and
bit about
bringing
it. This
all of
is
your
Miss
concerns. Thank you
Vernestine
so very
Palmer,
much. And we are a
lady on the
really
far
good
left of the
group.
dais up there,
wanna-
and
we're not gonna be
she
able to
wants
please
to
everybody.
have a few things to say. So let's listen to her. Stand by.
Make sure I'm saying the right words, because I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to say this. I just want to thank y'all for coming. Keep your concerns coming, and those that are spiritually minded, pray for the council, because we have hard decisions. We have a script that we must attend to. We have to abide by, and everybody's not going to be happy with that. But if you guys continue to come, continue to show your support, together we can get it done. We can be concerned about everything too that you are, and we are. Just know that just the five of us have a hard job to do. But I just want to thank you for your support and your concern. Thank you.
Well, you are welcome, Miss Palmer, and thank you for being there. And you started us down this road. I don't know if everybody caught that. She's got a hard job to do. They have to do certain things that they wouldn't maybe other ordinarily do. These people are being told that they can't vote no on something if somebody brings something in front of them. They have to vote yes. Now, does that make sense to you? Doesn't make any sense to me. Why are we electing them then? Why don't we just have a board of people that can say all the check boxes have been met? You have to allow this to happen. Why even bother to have a vote? The fact of the matter is, you do have a vote. Miss Palmer, they changed this to a PUD, which opens the door for you to say no. Okay, we're going to get more into the logistics on this, but you need to do some research on your own and quit listening to the people that want you to do the things that they want you to do. You're being used. You are. I'm going to relax because I'm going to say something that's going to be misconstrued. Love you. Nothing you can do about it. But anyway, let's move on to the next speaker. This one's going to be even more fun.
Anybody else?
I've got a comment to make. Thank y'all for coming. We don't meet outside of this meeting hall. So we don't discuss anything amongst ourselves that's been alluded to, lack of transparency. Everything that we do is on our agenda. It's given to us the week before we deal with it. And we come in and we listen as carefully and closely to the people that are here as we can. We all may agree with you. That does not mean we can vote with our emotions. We have regulations and laws that we have to follow, and they've been in place. And we don't make backroom deals. There is no lack of transparency. Everything is on the website. You guys can call any one of us, and we'll tell you what we know. But keep in mind, we don't know until it comes to us. So all this talk about the data center, we've seen nothing. Everybody's all talking about the data center. We have no information whatsoever about the data center or a data center. There's been nothing before us. We have seen nothing yet. So because it's, I'm not going to engage with you. It's a process that we don't see until the process is complete. We have good staff, probably some of the best staff anywhere, that processes these applications according to our laws that are in place. We don't willy-nilly decide who we want and who we don't want, what we like and what we don't like. We have zoning in our county and in our village. That is what, he's going to have to leave if he keeps up. That is what we have to go by, what the current zoning allows. And we have to be very conscientious about how we are conscientious. We don't want our community ruined. None of us want that. We all live here. You guys act like we're people that are from out of state coming up here every 2 weeks. And as far as having meetings, we have them every 2 weeks. Please join us. I mean, how many more meetings do we need to have? We don't know anything more than you know when you come here tonight, except for that we've gotten to read this agenda beforehand so that we can look things up and study things. All of this talk about the data center online is just panic at this point. We don't have any concrete information. And until we do, it can't be addressed rationally. So please understand that we get how you feel. All of us have reservations. We don't know what's coming. And until we do, we cannot talk about it or make any decisions. It has to be in front of us. So can we please just stick each week to the agenda in front of us so that we can get the things that we need done desperately, as Mr. Fierro had said, without all this panic over something that's not even before us yet. Thank you.
Well, there's a bunch to unwrap on that one, but run for the hills. It's panic. It's panic. You know, she is a very riding the edge of the razor blade type politician right here, because a lot of the things that she said just aren't really true. I've seen the information that the village has, and if she has not seen the information that the village has, I'm going to suggest that you are not doing your job. I'm going to suggest that staff is doing things that you don't know about. I'm going to suggest that you're wrong. You do know. You've seen the same documents that I've seen. They were sent to me from your staff. All you got to do is ask. And there's nothing wrong with asking how a project's going or what's going on or what is a data center. Show me where this is at. Show me where that is at. Explain this to me. No, you don't wait until the night before. You do your homework before. And if that's the way you're doing it, it's the reason you're not going to get voted back in. And this isn't panic. This isn't panic. This is you already having a predetermined outcome and trying to tell everyone that you know better than them. It doesn't work that way. And to answer your question, just because it is zoned one, well, let's start there. It's zoned what? Industrial, right? And they're putting in for what? A change of zoning, a PUD, right? Okay, that gives you every opportunity to say no under the law. Simple, plain and simple. You can still say no. You do not have to rubber stamp everything that comes through. And you can make it harder for them to even make it possible. You can put more restrictions on them. You can do things to make sure that this does not happen, but you want the money so that you can spend it because you think you know better. You think you know better. I gotta tell you, you're wrong.